We're about to cook, y'all. We're about to make the dog food today, guys. We want to show you what our recipes do for your dog. Come here, Milan. This is Milan. Sit, girl. Our Cane Corso. Milan is 5 years old. Notice you see no gray hairs, no red spots, no problems with her skin. And Milan spends the majority of her time in the basement because she barks too much. But look at her fur. Look at that coat. Look at that coat. That's what's possible when you use our ingredients. Milan is 5 years old. Look how she moves. Look how she moves. Look at her attitude. You know what I'm saying? So without any further ado, let's get into it. Let's get into it. First of all, we got 17 pounds of sweet potatoes and their juices. We boiled them down overnight slowly. Sweet potatoes, complex carbohydrates, fiber, starch, simple, complex carbohydrates, and vitamin A. Next, we have beet pulp. This beet pulp is high in magnesium. This beet pulp also contains iron and potassium, and it also is high in vitamin A. Now, we want to be careful with our vitamin A, but one thing, dog foods, most dog foods, especially, what was the dog food called? Eukanuba, which we used to feed back in the days. You know what I mean? Eukanuba was like the best stuff back in the days was beet pulp. So it's high in vitamin A. So now we're gonna mix this up. Look at that color. Look at that color. Whenever you see vibrant colors, the reason why we can have colored eyes and colored vision is so we can see good fruits and good vegetables.
Is that the reason?
Yeah, so you can spot fruits.
That's the reason.
Mm-hmm. A lot of animals only see in black and white. Predators, they're supposedly. Who knows? Could be right, could be wrong. But these are vibrant colors. They let you know that this is just nutrient-packed food, guys. Nutrient-packed. So that was 4 pounds of beet pulp and 17 pounds of sweet potatoes. Now we're gonna fold it all up. Look at that color. See, well, what's gonna happen when they eat this is our dogs are gonna just have all vitamins and fresh nutrients absorbed straight into their bloodstream. Magnesium, potassium, vitamin A, iron. And your dog is gonna have doggy kibble in it. Ooh-wee, look at that. All right, next. We got 17 pounds of pork shoulder. You see that big fat chunk on there? Look at that. Big fat chunk. You know what I'm saying? 17 pounds of pork shoulder. This is gonna be high in chondroitin, high in protein, fats, omega-3s, through the roof with it. You know what I'm saying? Fresh meats. Fresh meats. Like that dude said on TV, where's the meats? Roughly chopped so that the dogs get chunks of meat. No processed foods, you know what I'm saying? So we give them these chunks. Give them that chunk. Cut that meat down. Look at all that meat. This is your family's dinner for sure. This definitely is your family's dinner. Meat chunks. Straight up meat chunks. So pork is an excellent source, to give them a lot of fat. A lot of fat so they can build up a lot of fat on themselves, and it also has a lot of protein, as you can see. The difference between giving your dog raw meat, don't worry, that's not blood, that's that's actually beet pulp. The difference between giving your dog lots of meat and giving your dog food is basically night and day. The protein that is in dog food, chunks of that. The protein that is in dog food is actually waste products from the protein that's in dog food is actually waste products from the production of oils from corn and soybean oil. After they extract everything out of it, they leave you with what's left, which is basically byproduct, something that you don't really need. But they put it in dog food because it contains a large amount of protein. The problems with these proteins are it's just the digestibility. They break them down and heat them up, which makes them put them in smaller pieces, but they lose a lot of their elasticity, a lot of their nutrient content because basically, they've been all the good stuff has been extracted out of them. And then you're giving it to a dog and expecting the dog, my dang on hand is giving out. And expecting the dog to be able to break it down. I'm about to cut with my left hand, guys. My right hand seemed to went numb on me. I don't know if it's this knife or something. So basically, the people that recommend the amounts of protein in dog food say they recommend 22% protein in dog food. They don't say what kind, they just say 22% protein. They do that for two reasons. One, to make money, and two, to make sure people are not just giving your dog the wrong stuff and your dog is not eating well. So they'll give you something that doesn't contain a lot of biological value, and basically you have to feed your dog a whole lot of this, a lot of it. Now, feeding your dog this may seem very expensive, but in reality, let's dump it in here. You're actually feeding less than what you would be feeding if you fed them some other stuff. Now, mind you, I'm a little winded, guys. This is not easy. We're gonna get machines to do this for us easier. One thing I can say is meat contains basically 40% protein, right? So if you know that meat contains 40% protein and they only want you, look at that, boy. Meat contains 40% protein and they only want you to basically have 22% protein. If by any small standard, all we have to do is mix half meat, 17 pounds of pork, 17 pounds of the byproduct here. What we actually have is that actual combination is 17 pounds of pork meat, and we actually have, it was 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 pounds of vegetable or plant matter. Now, this vegetable or plant matter that we have is actually highly nutritious, highly nutrient dense food. So it's really just, it's going to add to the value of what your dog eating. And on another note, the proteins that we're adding, are more biologically digestible or more just nutrient absorbent, or give your dog more of a biological gain than, let's say, corn byproduct meal, soybean byproduct meal. These actual meat. So let's just say, for instance, the dog food is supposed to be 22% protein. If I mix it in half, that brings me at 20. But in reality, the biological benefits of this meat will basically be 2 to 3 times higher than some dog food, which means that even though it's only 20% protein, my protein gives more of a biological value, making it much higher. So next, we've got the pork. We've got the pork fat. Look at that, all that fat.
That's broth.
Whatever you want to call it, broth. You know what I mean? So what we're gonna do with that is, we're boosting our food. So like I said, I really feel like this half and half mix will definitely meet AFC, CEA, or whatever guidelines for 22% protein. The biological value of this meat versus the proteins that you get in the dog food is 2 to 3 times higher. So in reality, this is 22% times, let's say 2. This is really 60% protein compared to a bag of dog food. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna take it to the next level and add more protein and more vitamins and more sugars, basically, because milk is basically sugar in a form, but we're just gonna add more protein and more calories.
Why don't you just pour it in the cup?
You have all the answers, young lady. Reason why we're doing this. Normally, just thinking about it as I'm making it, I normally would have just stopped. You know what I mean? I would have just, once I put that pork in there, that pork mixed with that beef pulp is definitely just enough. But something in my mind is like, we're gonna take this to the next level. We're gonna take this to the next level, guys. We're gonna pour this in here. Boom. Look at that color. Look at the coloration. Look at that coloration. Look at that coloration. And that's that pork fat. You know what I mean? We just gonna let that sit in there. Look, they can smell it through the door, guys. We got some dogs outside. They know, they hear, they know that it's a video going down, and they can smell it through the door. And look, they're quiet. No noise being made. Mixing this up real good. You know, I could mix it up way better if I really wanted to. But I'm not going to go too crazy with this. Now, they know it's coming. Now next, I could mix this up a lot more, guys. You know what I mean? But we're not selling dog food. We're cooking for our own animals. Next.
Take that bone out.
Now that bone's fine.
Take it out.
This bone?
No, the tiny one.
The tiny bone?
Don't give that to her.
Hey, this bone ain't gonna do nothing to nobody. It's slowly cooked. Next, we got some turkey fat and grease that we've had laying around. We're gonna use that because I'm not gonna eat that turkey fat. Know what I mean? That's just a little flavoring. A little turkey flavoring, grease, and a little gravy. And next, we have these carrots. Now, these carrots look rough, man. They done had a rough life. And they don't look that great. But if we was in a real snowstorm like we are right now and starving, you might get to fighting over these carrots. We're gonna chop these carrots up just to give y'all like some ideas. You know, definitely when we ship our dog food out, guys, if you ever need us to ship you something, you know, we're not gonna feed you just send you this kind of stuff like this, but I just want to give you guys some kind of idea. Now, what this is gonna do is, these carrots are a little withered, but see, dogs have a very short digestive tract and very strong digestive system. So they're going to eat this healthy food and excrete it fast. They're gonna eat it and digest it quick. And they're gonna absorb all the nutrients and everything's gonna be in their body fast. So you kind of want it to sit there for a little bit so they don't give you that sad, hungry doggy face. So they don't sad dog you. Well, what are you doing? Sad dogging. Sad dogging. No. That's from the movie Prison or Inmate or something.
Is that what the dogs do for you? Sad dog?
Yeah, you remember the movie with
No.
Will Ferrell
No.
and
No.
what's the little short guy?
No.
The little short black guy?
I don't know. Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart.
Is that really how you're gonna do
Yeah.
it?
He was going to prison, so the dude, a millionaire, hired him to get ready for prison. So those pieces were just added in there to kind of show you, you know, some of the things you can do, or we do. You know, what we've been doing is we've really been budget feeding. What that means is I've been really just trying to, you know, I'm stuck on a calculation, like trying to budget feed. I don't know why, but that's what I do. Here we have some grease from bacon and hamburgers, or just hamburgers.
Both.
So this is some beef grease. Ah, shit, that's water hot. This is just some beef grease from hamburgers. Not a lot, you know, nothing of any significance, but just like I told you, I'm always budget feeding. So you get that in there, a little beef flavoring, you know what I mean? As human species, you know, you never want to waste anything. So now, I can tell you guys right now that this is about 20 pounds of 50 pounds of dog food. Let me get a bowl. We're gonna show y'all how they eat. Now this bowl feels kind of heavy. This is a big bowl. That's a big bowl. That bowl weighs, I don't know how much it weighs. Hold on right here. Let me try to weigh it real quick. No, it don't weigh. Let's see. So that's 3 pounds of dog food. When I was watching Rich DuBarry from D Foundation Raw, I noticed that he feeds his dogs 3 pounds of dog food. His dogs are eating completely raw meat. We are not doing that over here because that is that's just out of our realm at the moment. But watch. All those vitamins, all those nutrients, all that fat, the dog is going to be so happy to have eaten this. The dog is going to be so happy. Put that shit on my refrigerator, buddy. So as you can see, the fur on this dog, look at the coat. No blemishes. No, nothing. And they're eating the chunks of that meat out there, eating those chunks of pork. Those chunks of pork are going to really fulfill that dog's stomach, and they're going to be really happy. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in.